Hello, and welcome to Quiet Cosmos. If you find some quiet pleasure in slow, careful explorations of the universe, and in the strange science hiding inside the most ordinary things, then perhaps consider liking this video and subscribing minus. It helps this small, still corner of the cosmos keep growing, quietly, in the dark. And before you let yourself sink fully into the night, take a moment, if you would like to tell us where you are listening from tonight. Perhaps a bedroom somewhere in the northern half of the world, the heating just ticking off. Perhaps a front room with the lamps already turned down low. Perhaps a sofa in a city that has finally gone soft and silent around you, or a house far out in the countryside, with nothing but a wide, cold, clear sky pressing down above the roof. Wherever that place happens to be, dark energy is at work there right now, not somewhere far away, out between the distant galaxies, but in the small gap of air between your resting hand and the ceiling above you. That space looks empty. It feels empty. And yet, according to our very best measurements of the entire universe, 68.3% of everything that exists is the energy of spaces exactly like that one. Not matter, not light, not anything you could ever gather, or weigh, or hold up to the eye. It is, as strange as this sounds, the energy of nothing at all. That is the quiet idea we are going to rest beside tonight. The most powerful influence in the whole of the universe is the energy of completely empty space, minus, and every cubic centimetre of it weighs less than a millionth of a trillionth of a gram, vanishingly slight, present everywhere at once, and, without ever hurrying, steering the fate of every galaxy that is ever formed. So what is this dark energy? Where did it come from? Why should empty space carry any energy at all? Why should nothing weigh anything? Has it always been just as it is now, or is it, very slowly changing beneath us? And what will it do in the end to everything there is, including the very atoms that are, at this very moment, holding you gently together? Those questions have quietly occupied some of the finest minds in physics for nearly 3 decades now, ever since 2 rival teams of astronomers each discovered, in 1998, that the universe is not slowing down at all. It is speeding up. And as recently as March of 2025, only a handful of months ago, a telescope out in the Arizona desert returned a set of results that hinted at something stranger still, that dark energy may not be a constant after all, that the cosmological constant, as it has long been called, may not in fact be constant. We are going to move through all of it slowly tonight. Einstein's equations, and the quiet regret he carried because of them. The exploding stars that overturned everything we thought we knew, the embarrassment at the very heart of modern physics, a mistake so vast it is difficult even to say aloud, and that soft, open, unanswered question from this very year, one that nobody yet knows quite how to close. But there is no need to hold any of that just now. For now, simply settle in. Rest your hand where it lies, and let your attention drift to that thin gap of air above it. Something is there, something enormous, and dominant, and entirely invisible. Let that thought move slowly over you, the way a tide moves over sand, as we begin to turn it, gently, in the dark. Because here is the truly remarkable part, the part we will keep returning to as the night unfolds. You are not studying dark energy from the outside, the way you might consider a photograph of some far-off nebula. You are inside it. It is inside you. The same faint energy that fills the vast emptiness between galaxies also fills the space between your own two hands, the space inside your chest as it rises and falls, the space that seems to open between one slow thought and the next. So let us begin, gently, where any honest understanding of a thing has to begin, not with the answer, but with the slow, patient history of the question. Because this idea, the one now filling your room and filling the thin gap of space between your resting hands, is astonishingly new. The words we use for it are younger than a great many of the people quietly listening tonight. And yet the longing underneath those words, the plain human wish to know what the sky is actually made of, is very nearly the oldest longing we have. So we are going to walk that road a little way in the dark, moving outward from the near and the familiar toward the vast and the cold, and we will take it one unhurried step at a time. There is nowhere we need to be. Each step we take will make the step before it look a touch smaller, a little quainter, a little more like an early pencil sketch of a face you are only now beginning to see in full. Go back then, a very long way, to the philosophers of ancient Greece who lay awake beneath the very same sky that is pressing silently above your roof at this hour. They had, just as you have, the plain evidence of their own hands. They could see that the world close around them was built of a few simple things. There was earth, solid beneath the feet. There was water that ran and pooled and fell. There was air, unseen but felt on the skin. And there was fire, which climbed and flickered and warmed. 4 elements, 4 ordinary substances, and between them, so the thinking went, everything on the ground could be explained. But the heavens were a different matter altogether. The heavens did not behave like earth or water or air or fire. The stars did not fall. The great wheel of the night did not burn out or rot or run dry. It simply turned, and turned again, changeless, night after patient night. And so those early thinkers reached, quite reasonably, for a 5th thing. Not earth, not water, not air, not fire, but a 5th element, something finer and purer than any of the 4 earthly substances could ever be. Something that did not age, something that filled the sky, and held the stars, and never once decayed. As the story is often told, it was Aristotle who gave this idea its fullest shape, naming a heavenly substance placed forever beyond the reach of change. And the word that has come down to us across all those centuries for that 5th thing is a quiet, lovely one: quintessence, the 5th essence. Hold that word somewhere at the back of your mind as you lie there, because in a way we will find almost eerie much later tonight, it is going to return to us. Notice what those ancient watchers were really claiming underneath the poetry of it. They were saying that the cosmos taken as a whole does not move, that above the churn and the weather of the earth there sits a perfect, finished, unchanging order. The universe in this picture is not a story still being written. It is a completed thing, eternal, still. And that single intuition, the deep and almost comforting assumption that the cosmos is at rest, turned out to be extraordinarily durable. It did not last a century or 5 centuries. In one form or another, it lasted for more than 2,000 years. It was still standing, quietly unquestioned, when one of the most careful minds our species has ever produced sat down to describe the entire universe in mathematics. Which brings us to a room in Berlin, and to February of the year 1917. The man at the desk is Albert Einstein, and he has, only a little while before, finished the piece of work that will define him, his general theory of relativity, a new and startling account of gravity itself. In this picture, gravity is not a force reaching invisibly across a gap. It is something stranger and more beautiful. It is the bending of space and time around anything that carries mass. Follow that idea outward, apply it not to an apple or a planet, but to the whole universe at once, and Einstein finds something that troubles him deeply. His own equations will not sit still. They insist that a universe filled with matter must be doing something, drawing itself together, slowly collapsing under the weight of all its own gravity, every galaxy pulling upon every other. His mathematics describe a cosmos in motion, and Einstein, a child of that same ancient intuition, does not want a cosmos in motion. He wants the sky the Greeks believed in. He wants it still. So he does something he will spend a good part of the rest of his life regretting. He reaches into his equations, and by hand he adds a term, a single new quantity, written as the Greek letter lambda, and he names it the cosmological constant. Think of it, as gently as you can in the dark, as a kind of faint outward pressure woven into the fabric of empty space itself. A soft push spread evenly through the whole of the void, exactly strong enough to hold the universe open against the relentless inward tug of its own gravity. A cosmic balancing act. Gravity drawing everything together, this new constant pressing everything apart, and the two, in Einstein's hopeful arrangement, cancelling out to a perfect permanent stillness. He does not add it because any observation demands it. No telescope has told him to. He adds it because he believes, as very nearly everyone before him believed, that the true universe is static, and his equations need a little help to agree. Sit with the quiet strangeness of that for a moment, here in the dark. The single most important idea in the whole of tonight's story, the notion that empty space might carry its own faint built-in pressure, a tendency to push outward that belongs to nothingness itself, arrives not as a discovery, but as a fudge. A patch, a number set down on a page for no better reason than to make the sky hold still, to keep faith with a 2,000-year-old feeling that the heavens do not move. Einstein has, without quite meaning to, written down the distant ancestor of the very thing that is filling your room tonight, and he thinks of it, at this stage, as little more than a mathematical convenience. For a little more than a decade, the stillness holds, and then far away from Berlin on a mountain in California, at the eyepiece of what is then the greatest telescope in the world, that ancient assumption quietly comes apart. The year is 1929, and the man doing the watching is Edwin Hubble. Night after night he is measuring the faint light of distant galaxies, smudges of glow so far away that they had only recently been understood to be other galaxies at all, other islands of countless stars adrift in the dark, and in that light he finds something written that no one much